Hey everyone, welcome today to this video. I'm Michiel from Firmhouse, and on this channel I post videos about building software products, building a tech company, and I review new software platforms like the one that I'm doing today, which is reviewing the new app platform by DigitalOcean. And if you know Heroku or other platform as a service provider, DigitalOcean launched exactly that. So a way to not deal with servers, but still be able to deploy your code and run your app. And I'm going to take a look at DigitalOcean's new app platform today and just launch an app and have you watch. So that's it. Let's get started with it. So we start at the main screen, and today I'm just going to deploy a really simple prototype app that I've been building. It does have some features. It uses a PostgreSQL database, so let's see how fast I can get that up and running. First thing we do is launch your app. Then I choose the repository after connecting my GitHub account, and I'll click next. And as you see, it's pre-filled the name, and I will choose the Amsterdam region because that's where we're nearby, and then I just have it auto deploy master. So let's have a look and click next. Then you see that DigitalOcean auto detected that this is a Ruby on Rails app. So I guess there's only one type currently in this app. Something with routes, environment variables. I'm not going to do anything with this yet. I'm just going to see if I can now just click a button and deploy. So let's do the defaults. What I will do is add a database, and it looks like DigitalOcean offers like a dev database that costs $7 a month, and you can also link up an existing managed database. DigitalOcean has their managed database service, and that's what you can probably choose, pick, and then link into the environment variables for your app. So I'll just leave this be and click add database. And this is now a nice little summary of how my app will look. So this is the PostgreSQL database, and I'm going to click next to proceed to the next step. Okay, so I can choose a plan. Starter is apparently for static sites. Since this is a Rails app, it's not a static site. We have the basic plan and we have the pro plan. This is kind of like a prototype app, so I'll just choose the basic plan. But let's quickly take a look at the differences between the basic and pro plan. The basic plan includes all the features from the starter plan, and it allows you to deploy dynamic apps. I guess they just mean like scripting or programming web apps. Per hour application metrics, shared CPU. That's interesting because this means that there will be multiple tenants on the same underlying server that your app will run on, which is kind of I guess the default for most platform as a service propositions. So that's not a big problem. Vertical scaling, so they allow you to add more containers for more traffic concurrency. Further gigs outbound traffic, I assume per month, and 400 build minutes. Okay, I guess if you deploy, kind of like build minutes happen every time you build your app. This will be taken from the build minutes. The pro plan, let's take a look at that. Starts at $12 a month. Includes everything from the starter and basic plans. Per minute application metrics. Okay, so the basic plan has per hour application metrics, and the pro plan has per minute application metrics. So you have a little bit more granularity when monitoring your app. Horizontal scaling. Not sure what so how this works out with what the difference is between adding multiple containers in terms of horizontal scaling. So I don't know, maybe they mean that this will allow you to scale to different geographical regions. That might be the thing. Run multiple instances of your containers for redundancy. I thought that vertical scaling here, manually adjust your container sizes, was already the same thing. So I'm not sure what the difference is between vertical scaling and high availability here. But let's see. Apparently shared and dedicated CPU. So either your containers will run on a shared environment or they will run on a dedicated server. And of course, dedicated server is useful if you really don't want any outside influence on your apps. and they offer more build minutes and a better outbound traffic. So I'm just going to choose one container for now and launch the app. And this will cost me $12 a month to run one container of this app and one dev database. So let's launch. So the app has been created. I assume that it's now doing something, and we can take a look at the progress here. It's now at 14%, and once this progress bar is filled up, I think that my app will be available to the public. So let's just wait, put on some elevator waiting music, and I'll get back to you when the app is launched by DigitalOcean. Okay, so what we can see here is that the app was building with the initial deployment. It's just, I guess, checking out the code from GitHub, and then DigitalOcean has their own, what seems to be Heroku-ish kind of like build packs. Since this app that I'm deploying is pretty much a proper Ruby on Rails 1-2-factor or 12-factor app, it should all work on every platform as a service, especially if containers are used and especially if common Ruby on Rails and JavaScript and Yarn and Node build packs are used. So this output now gives me like the information that the app is building. It seems to be bundling our Ruby gems at this moment. So let's just wait for it to finish. We can quickly take a look at the other things in the app platform. The overview doesn't contain a lot of information yet, but I think this will be filled up once the app is deployed. Insights. Okay, this seems to be, it's not loading yet, but this seems to have traffic or usage graphs so that you can monitor and trace back any traffic spikes or weird things happening. I guess this doesn't show any data yet because the app is not deployed yet. Deployments. Okay, this will be the history of our deployments. It's currently building the initial deployment, so let's see how that works. Logs. Logs is sort of like the standard output that our components, database, and web worker will show. Console, easy access into the console. The overview of components with all the settings that we have for this. Oh, this is pretty awesome. So it allows you to upgrade a dev database to a managed database. That's cool, because then you can just start out with your prototype app, even production app, that apps that are just starting out can like start on that, and once you want to give it a little bit more availability, or when the traffic load gets up to the point that you need a production worthy database, you can just upgrade to a managed database. So that's pretty cool. Settings. Okay, so these are the basic settings we also set when creating the app. And there's a little bit more to this, I guess. So domains and certificates. App topology is defined by the app spec that can be used to edit advanced settings. Okay, so I guess we can include like a manifest file in our app so that DigitalOcean knows a little bit more about it, and we can tweak and configure certain settings there. So that's it, the rundown through the main level screens. Let's now wait for the app to be deployed and see if we can immediately have something in our browser window. Okay, awesome. We have a completed build. So everything looked good. We get a nice green check mark. The logs show like that the app is built and that the deployment runs Puma, the internal like Ruby on Rails app server. So let's go to the live app and see what we see. Okay, page doesn't exist. This is obvious because this app doesn't have a root route, so there's a 404 error here. As you can see, I also got a free like subdomain from DigitalOcean. It's kind of like app name dash some random characters and then on DigitalOcean.app. I'm going to go into a URL that I know exists and see if it's being served by Ruby on Rails. Looks like we have an account, or the new account creation screen works. So let's just create an account for mouse. Let's see if that works. Okay, we're sorry, but something went wrong. Let's see if we can quickly debug in the logs. So these look like regular web logs. I already see like a fatal error message. PG undefined table error relation accounts doesn't exist. This is because the migrations haven't run yet. So let me go into this console tab in the app platform and just run bin rails db migrate and see if I can have my initial database set up correctly. It's pretty cool that this is really fast. So pressing this console tab, I mean, with Heroku and other app platforms, you need to do something in your terminal. You need to go in, like they kick off a new container and then a new process starts, and it easily takes like 10 to 20 to 30 seconds before you can actually get into your console settings. So I kind of like this immediately accessible console action. Okay, so the migrations have run. Let's now refresh the new account form. Yeah, looks like it works. So this is a prototype app that I won't go into now, but at least we can see that the UI works and that the app is served by the DigitalOcean App Platform, and that we have some database connections in here because we were able to create a new account. So yeah, I guess that's the easiest way of setting up the app platform for a new Ruby on Rails app with a PostgreSQL database. Let's quickly go over all the tabs again and see what's changed now. So the overview now shows two kind of like processes. One is the actual web process of the app with the memory and CPU metrics, and the other one is the database. We have last deployment and we have managed components. So if we now go into insights, let's have a look what that means. Let's press the Rails app. Okay, and as we can see now, something is happening in these charts. So this is the way that we can monitor CPU and memory usage. Let's see for the database what's happening. Yeah, also some nice graphs. It looks like something is broken in the UI here. There should be, wait, this is kind of like an internal, like an iframe or something like that we need to scroll. Anyway, so a lot of database metrics that you can use to maybe like figure out performance errors or other connection problems. Deployments, we've already seen this. The initial deployment is done. We have our app logs, which is great. Our app is just logging everything to standard out, so we have a lot of logs here. The console, we already went into it. I guess it opens a new console session every time you open this console tab. Components. Yeah, so everything that the app needs to run. I'm going to do one experiment and just like increase this number of container. Oh, I guess I cannot do that at this moment. I can switch to a bigger bigger container, but can I like change? Okay, I can only have one container. I guess that's what they meant on the pricing schema with horizontal and vertical scaling. This is vertical, so I can only increase the size of my components when there's only like one process running. And I guess if I upgrade to the premium plan, I can also choose to run multiple containers, which is also better for, yeah, if you run out of your kind of like your dedicated or vertical scaling, or if you need high availability for droplets. So, okay, that makes sense. Is there anything else we can take a look at here? Environment variables, you will need this if you have more complex apps. So the database URL is pre-filled by DigitalOcean with a little bit of template logic, and I assume that this refers to the DB component that we have. So that's pretty cool that you can link together like components in your app environment and use the template language to link up certain stuff that's provided by other components. We have a build command, we have the Rails server command, we have health checks, interesting routes. I guess you could potentially map subdomains or sub URLs into different components. Pretty awesome if that would be the reason. Let's go into settings, see if we have anything here that we can now change. Deploy settings. auto deploy. I guess if we disable this, we need to manually deploy. Let me quickly check that, because that might be interesting for us at Firmhouse as well. So we now have manual deployments. Oh, it seems to be building, like rebuilding. Don't really need that, but yeah. Oh, there's of course a large deploy button here. And if I press this, oh, it immediately builds. Okay, nice. Not really sure if I wanted to do that. I would maybe expect some kind of confirmation. Are you really sure you want to deploy the new changes? But anyways, it looks like this this works pretty well. Yeah, let's take another look at the settings quickly. Domains and certificates, add a domain. So this is some quick instructions on how to link a subdomain into into this CNAME. And I guess you can only do subdomains now because root domains are not yet supported. So you really need to have something like www.firmhouse.com or like protect.firmhouse.com and then link that CNAME to this app. So that makes sense. So currently only subdomains are supported, and hopefully they will launch root domains fast. I think it's always a big best practice to actually do a CNAME and not a root domain. But anyways, that's up to you for your preference. You can always like redirect your root domain to the subdomain to support these kinds of cases. So interesting. Cool. Okay, let's see if there's anything else to show. I think not. We have a new app running on DigitalOcean with a simple Ruby on Rails web worker and a PostgreSQL database. And yeah, stay tuned, because I will make another video where I will actually deploy our Firmhouse platform, like our main code base, which is way more complicated than this little prototype app. And that code base also includes like a Sidekick worker and a Redis database. So in the next video, I'm going to see how I can get our main platform up and running on a DigitalOcean environment. So that will be exciting and interesting. Stay tuned and keep your eyes open for the new video.